Hello. There we go.
All right, take two.
The August 23rd, 2021 meeting of the Agenda Charter Committee will now come to order. Will the clerk please call roll?
Mr. Brew. Here. Delahanty. Here. Chairman Dondorfer.
Here.
Ms. Hasman. Here. Mr. Wilcox is excused. And President Carbone, are you in attendance?
Is there anyone signed up for the public forum?
We have no registered speakers.
Okay, the next item on the agenda is the approval of minutes. You have the July 26, 2021 meeting before you. They will stand approved unless the clerk is notified of any changes by the end of the day. New business, the next item on the agenda, Mr. Clerk.
Item 21-0292, creation of a special committee to examine and revise the Monroe County Code of Ethics.
By Legislator Bruce, seconded by Legislator Delahanty. Is there any discussion on this? Yes. Brew? Thank you. Legislator Brew, can you speak into the microphone, please?
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to thank my colleagues in the Democratic Caucus for bringing forward, as we discussed this moment ago, upholding the ethical standards in Monroe County is of utmost importance. In the interest of ensuring the proper procedures are being taken by this honorable body, I request that this item be referred to the administration. Mr. Chairman? Yes, sir. Maybe I be excused from those last remarks. I was on the wrong page.
Certainly may.
I humbly take back everything.
Legislator Hasman.
Chairman, I might be able to provide some response to that. This committee needs to be isolated from political pressure. Having legislators from both sides of the aisle will ensure that the recommended changes to the code of ethics be objective and certainly addressed in the
Chairman, I just follow up that. I appreciate that response. But just as a follow-up, would the author of the legislation consider amending the legislation to expand membership to include subject matter experts, such as the law department or human resources, as well as external experts, knowledge and support the work of this group?
Yes, through the chairman, Legislator Hasman, I believe that the committee, once it is constituted, would certainly engage the services of legal expertise to work through the process of developing the revised code of ethics.
The legislation identifies that the committee will comprise of 5 voting members appointed by the president of the legislature. Can you expand on how the selection of the minority leader, how the minority member?
She's going to speak with him.
Does the president of the legislature intend to directly appoint all the members of the committee?
If I may respond to that, I am not sure of the intent of the president in regard to the recognition of the which Democratic members he will appoint. I do feel that those appointments will be made via the letter of via as stipulated in the agreement.
Is the author of the
Legislator Hasman, can you just speak a little bit more into the microphone? We're just having a hard time hearing you. Sorry. Yep.
It's for the record of the people at home.
Like 3.
And a half.
Thank you. Follow up. Can you have any idea how our caucus, the Democratic caucus, might have any input on this?
Yes, to the chairman, Legislator Gassman, no, as per the referral, it does provide for Democratic caucus representation. And, I basically leave it at that. And it's up to the president of the legislature to make appointments. And what he considers or what he does not consider is,
Can the author of the legislation, sorry, through you, Mr. Chairman, can the author of the legislation provide a detailed timeline for the process of this legislation? Some of the things that I have in mind are when will the membership be confirmed? When is the first meeting? Timeline for the work and public input into the recommendation?
the after the committee, to the chair, I'm sorry, after the committee is formed, I guess it would be up to the committee to determine the type of timeline involved in doing this based upon the frequency of how often they meet. And I personally, although there isn't anything that's spelled out, timeline wise, I'd love to see this thing wrapped up, later on in the year. During the time.
Just more. For you, Mr. Chair, this legislation articulates the committee's work to develop recommendations for updates to the code of ethics, like you said, by December 31st of this year. I think it's problematic because the next day we'll be creating a new legislature, including the potential for the new president of the legislature. Is the intention of the author of this legislation that the next legislation will act upon the recommendations of the committee?
To the chairman, my response to that is however the timeline falls. If the timeline is such that this is finished up, as aggressive as maybe the November meeting, then so be it. If the timeline extends beyond the first of the year, then in my opinion, it has to do that. I think most importantly, we have to consider that the job is done right and everything is taken into consideration when developing this revised code. So to answer your timeline, it's variable. Again, it's where the committee feels it can best accomplish all the work that's ahead of it, whether it can do it in a timely manner, or if it's going to extend out and consider some of the legal counsel involved. But again, I think it's important that we focus on getting this done right, not so much as the timeline involved.
Through you, Mr. Chairman, as Mr. Brew mentioned, we really want to do this right. So I just have a question. Why is there the sense of urgency?
Because I'm sorry, Mr. Chairman, through you to Legislator Gassman, the sense of urgency is, I think, it's widely accepted by everybody in the body here, the legislative body, that there has been a breach in conduct, and that it is something that should not be left through the normal cycle of referrals, and that it would be our intent to recognize that fact and move this thing along, expediently.
So in the event that the work of the committee, this is a hypothetical, is not concluded by the final date, and there's a new legislature seated with a new president, would new appointments need to be made to the committee?
Through you, Mr. Chairman, Legislator Gassman, that is something that I would have to defer to the county charter and a legal opinion on that. I would have no idea how that would change.
Just a few more. As I read through the legislation, the details for the parameters of this committee were unclear and have not been articulated to the members of the legislature. What will be the structure of this group? Will there be a chairperson? Will there be staff assigned?
Through the chairman to Legislator Gassman, I don't believe those questions have been answered yet. This is the beginning stages of the formation of the committee. What would follow after the formation of the committee are the additional details of timeline, responsibilities within the committee itself. So my assumption, and I'm not speaking from a position of authority on this, but my guess is that the committee would establish the chair of that, if there were to be a chair of the committee, and set those rules in place, most likely with the first organization.
Thank you, that answers a lot. I'll give it to you more. What will be the process to determine if a recommendation is considered viable?
Through the chair, back to the legislature. Viable meaning viable in terms of legal.
Yeah, is it something that the ethics committee could act on?
Okay. I mean, I understand that quite clearly, but viable would mean it would have to,
Legislator Brew, if I may step in for 2 seconds, I believe we will be following the charter on what the charter is for its, for the special committees and what's viable and not with that. Legislator Bruno, if you don't mind, President Carbone is here to field a question or two for you.
Well, the recommendations of the ethics committee require unanimous approval to be.
After the recommendations are provided by the special committee, the local law would need to be submitted. Now, this would be considered by the agenda charter committee. Should there by favorable consideration at the committee level, the local law will be introduced, tabled, and have a public hearing set. After the public hearing, the local law would be considered for adoption. If adopted, the local law will then be sent to the county executive.
Through you, Mr. Chairman, if the recommendations are not universal, will there be a mechanism for recording dissenting opinions?
Okay, that would be on the record.
Last one, I promise. Through you, Mr. Chairman, to the authors of the legislation. All the recommendations make their way from the committee to the final legislative proposal and be submitted to the 5 committee members. And will it be submitted to the 5 committee members?
Republicans, the format in which the recommendations are submitted are at the discretion of the committee.
Thank you. Any further questions or follow-up? Seeing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Next item.
Dash 0294. Adopt a resolution of the Monroe County Legislature. Censure Legislator Ernest Flagler Mitchell and request the President to remove Legislator Flagler Mitchell from all committee assignments. County legislators Roman, Baroth, Mafucci, Udelson, Wilcox, Morelli, Baines, Barnhart, and Hassman.
Second.
By Legislator Delahanty, seconded by Legislator Brew. Any discussion on this? Legislator Brew.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Excuse the previous response. Comments are appropriate to this referral. Mr. President, I thank my colleagues in the Democratic Caucus for bringing, as we discussed just moments ago, upholding ethical standards in Monroe County is of the utmost importance. In the interest of ensuring that proper procedures are being taken by the body, I request that this item be referred to the administration. While this item is referred, I request that feedback be provided on a couple of items. First, I ask that clarity be given on the censoring process. It's my understanding that this legislature has never censored a legislator in the past. Prior to considering this legislation, it's important to know whether a consent motion is permissible by the legislature. In addition to this, I'm requesting that we are provided with a written legal opinion as to whether it is required by the charter, rules of the legislator, or past precedent that each county legislator should serve on at least one standing committee. I will follow up with written questions for the law department to consider following this meeting.
Any other discussion on this? I agree with you, Legislator Brew, to refer this to the administration.
Referral 21-0295, local law to establish a limit on the charges imposed by third-party delivery services on restaurants.
Okay, need to move in a second first.
Second.
Okay. And the seconded by Legislator Brew.
Yes.
So moved by Legislator Hasman, seconded by Legislator Brew. Any discussion on that? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Tabled. Next item.
Referral 21-0296, a local law to establish the Food Delivery Fairness Act.
Second.
Moved by Legislator Delahanty, seconded by Legislator Brew. Is there any discussion on this? Seeing none, all in favor? Nope. The floor is yours.
A weird spot near the microphone. Thank you so much for considering this legislation. The online food delivery platforms have grown in popularity over the last decade, but particularly during the pandemic, rely on food delivery services. Several of these platforms control an enormous part of the market in the United States and in Monroe County. One of the things that they've been doing to compete with each other is listing restaurants without their permission on these platforms. And the restaurants have a real problem with that because they can't control the menu items, for example. Perhaps they're no longer offering a certain item and these apps are selling them to consumers. Well, the consumers they can't control the quality of the delivery service. They can't keep gratuities and they can't control the prices. And so restaurants really should be able to have a say over their businesses. They should be able to operate independently of these apps if they so choose, and they should be able to enter into agreements. So this legislation would essentially say you cannot list restaurants on these third-party delivery platforms without a written agreement. The state of California recently enacted this law with the support of at least one of the platforms, Grubhub, and today I was told that DoorDash, I spoke with DoorDash, they're fine with this legislation because it levels the playing field for them. It's one of those things where if one guy does it, they feel they all have to do it. And restaurants would really appreciate this consideration. So thank you very much, and I hope my colleagues support this bill.
Great. Any other discussion? All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Item.
Referral 21-0298, confirmation of appointments and reappointments to the Monroe County Recycling Advisory Committee.
By Legislator Brew, seconded by Legislator Delahanty. Is there any discussion on this item? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Item carries. Are there any other matters to come before this committee? There being no other matters, the August 23rd, 2021 meeting of the Agenda Charter Committee stands adjourned. The next meeting of the Agenda Charter Committee will be held on Monday, September 27th, 2021 at 5 p.m.